Today, I'm diving into one of the most misunderstood foods on the planet, soy. Is it a health food? A hormone disruptor? A gut destroyer? Does it give you man boobs? Or actually, is the truth the complete opposite? There's so much noise about soy, from thyroid fears to cancer myths, that most people are left totally confused. So this video is the no fluff, no fear-mongering, just clear, science-backed, simplified answers. Here's what I'm covering today. What soy actually does to your gut microbiome, the good, the bad, and the bloating, how it truly affects your hormones, metabolism, energy, and spoiler, it's not what you think, the essential mineral you must have if you are eating soy regularly, and it's crucial for your thyroid, plus soy is in everything, what the research really says about soy and cancer, plus the sneaky places soy is hiding in your diet, like vegetable oil, which is everywhere. Because soy isn't just tofu and edamame, it's in your snacks, your dressings, and pretty much all processed food. So unless you're living off-grid, you're probably eating it already. So let's understand what it's really doing to your body and how you can make better choices for your gut and your hormones. This is part one of my two-part soy series where I break down the science. Now part two, I'll take you through the products, label by label, the best and the worst soy products, from fermented heroes to ultra-processed gut wreckers, so you know exactly what to buy. Now grab a pen and a paper or download your free soy survival guide from my Gut Love email club. We're digging into the myths, the ancient prep tips, and the truth about soy that nobody is telling you. Before we start, let me know in the comments, what's your go-to soy food meal? Tofu stir fry, soy lattes, miso soup, let me know. Hi, I'm Leilani. I'm a chef and I'm a qualified clinical nutritionist here to make gut health simple and doable daily. On this channel, I cook and talk all things gut healthy. So hit the subscribe, turn on the bell so you can improve your gut week by week. And a quick note, if you have a diagnosed or think you have an allergy to soy, this is an automatic no-go zone for you. But for everyone else wrestling with these questions, let's dive in so you can eat the right kind of soy. Let's start with soy essentials, what you really need to know. First, soy is a rock star plant protein. It's one of the few complete plant proteins, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids, just like meat and eggs. But its real power is for your gut, because whole soybeans are actually packed with prebiotic fiber. That is food for your good gut bugs. When your microbes feast on this fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which acts like healing balm for your gut lining. Now, if you want to level up with, say, fermented soy products like tempeh, miso, natto, that's a double whammy. They contain prebiotics to feed your good bacteria plus live probiotics, the actual beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria. These are the exact strains you pay for in expensive supplements, but here they are in your dinner bowl. I'll go into how easily to add these into your diet in part 2. And I'll put the card here in case you want to go check that out. Now, what about hormones? Because this is where soy has seriously been misunderstood. Soy contains natural compounds called isoflavones. People freak out because they are called plant estrogens. But isoflavones are 1,000 times weaker than your body's own estrogen. They don't overwhelm the system. They act like a dimmer switch, balancing things out based on your body's needs. Too much estrogen? Isoflavones can actually gently block it. Not enough, like in menopause, they can give you a mild boost. That is why soy is linked to fewer hot flashes and stronger bones in women. In fact, women in Japan who eat soy daily have some of the lowest rates of menopausal symptoms in the world. Coincidence? I don't think so. For men, the evidence is also clear. Massive reviews of over 40 studies found zero effect on testosterone or estrogen levels, even at high intakes. So guys, you can relax. Eating tofu won't grow you another bra size. That said, I wouldn't recommend making soy your only protein. Diversity is a major win for gut and overall health. But if you eat soy regularly, there is one key nutrient you need to have in your diet, and I'll cover that next. So what about the thyroid and soy? Because this is one of the most valid concerns. Soy contains goitrogens, which can interfere with thyroid function, but only if you are iodine deficient. Iodine is the essential raw material your thyroid needs. Soy compounds compete for the absorption. So if iodine is plentiful, it's a non-issue. But if you're deficient in iodine, it can be a problem. This is why traditional soy consuming cultures, that's a hard one to say, like Japan, soy is almost always paired with iodine-rich foods like seaweed in miso soup, because they figured this out centuries ago. So the takeaway here is if you eat soy, ensure you get enough iodine. You can use iodized sea salt or seaweed salt, or called kelp salt, or even seaweed. It's really simple. Now let's zoom in onto something a little bit more controversial: anti-nutrients in soy. Not everyone is cheering for Team Soy. Nutrition author Sally Fallon from Weston A. Price Foundation, who I deeply respect and highly recommend you read her book called Nourishing Traditions, argues that soybeans naturally come with something called phytates and enzyme inhibitors. That's science speak for compounds that can block the absorption of minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc, and make protein harder to digest. Their big point: unless soy is properly fermented, some of these compounds stick around. In fact, traditional cultures didn't know the biochemistry, but they knew that soaking, sprouting, and fermenting grains, legumes, and nuts made them easier on the body. That's exactly why I created an Activate Like a Pro cheat sheet. It's a simple guide to reducing the anti-nutrients, not just in soy, but in grains, all legumes, and nuts. So I'll put the link below so you can go and download that. It's a simple cheat sheet to turn those potentially harmful compounds into helpful. Let's tackle the biggest fear: cancer. This is where the soy story completely reverses, according to the research. For years, the warning was everywhere: soy might increase breast cancer risk. But this was based on old, flawed animal studies where researchers injected huge concentration doses of soy compounds into mice. But here's the critical flaw: we are not mice, we don't inject our food, and human digestion is completely different. Modern research on the actual human populations revealed a shocking truth. We now have a mountain of evidence from large-scale studies, and the conclusions are really clear. For breast cancer survivors, a landmark study in JAMA found that women who ate the most soy had a 25% lower risk of cancer reoccurring. For prevention studies like the Shanghai Women's Health Study link high soy intake from adolescents to a significantly lower risk of developing breast cancer. For men, research consistently shows soy is associated with a lower risk of advanced prostate cancer. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, isn't this research funded by the soy industry? And it's a fair question. But what's compelling is that the biggest studies mentioned above were funded by public health institutions like the US National Institute of Health and the American Cancer Society. The consensus isn't from a few biased papers, it's from decades of large publicly funded human studies. This is why major cancer centers now state that soy is not only safe, but likely beneficial. Here's the critical caveat. Everything we've just discussed is about whole or fermented soy: tofu, tempeh, edamame, miso, and so on. There's more. The problem in the Western diets is the processed soy, isolated soy protein concentrate, and especially refined soybean oil. The highly processed oil, stripped of everything beneficial and the nutrients, is actually pro-inflammatory and found in countless ultra-processed foods. So poor quality soy like isolates, which isn't real food, confuse your immune system, triggering inflammation instead of nourishment. This is why the conversation is so confusing. Whole soy is not the same as processed soy. And I talk all about the differences in part 2. So is soy healthy or harmful? The science says it's powerfully healthy when it's in the whole, traditionally prepared with soaked or fermented methods, and eaten as part of a balanced diet. It is a reminder that nutrition is rarely black and white. It's about context, preparation, and the company it keeps. Our ancestors knew this intuitively through traditions like fermentation. They weren't obsessing over isoflavones or enzyme inhibitors. They just knew that soaking, sprouting, fermenting, and pairing foods with, like soy with seaweed and miso, made it nourishing and not depleting. Soy isn't the enemy. It's a nutrient-packed, gut-supportive, hormone-helping superstar when it's left close to nature. In fact, the data shows regular consumption of whole soy is associated with lower bad LDL cholesterol, improves blood sugar stability, and markedly lower risk for both breast and prostate cancers. But once we ultra process it, strip it of fiber, add weird binders, and bottle it up as fake meat or industrial oil, that's when it loses its benefits and starts playing rogue with your gut. So instead of asking, is soy good or bad? Ask, how is it grown, prepared, and paired? That's the real game changer. And that's how we start making empowered, gut-loving choices every day. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who is still scared of soy. It really helps this channel, and I'm here to serve you. So thank you for watching. Remember, it's not about perfect eating. It's about empowered choices with the right type of food for you. See you in part 2. Love your gut.